What do you think they're up to?
I think it's just an extension of their strategy. This is probably the third iteration of price cuts, probably an indication that it hasn't worked the way that they had expected it to. When they made the acquisition, it scratched my head. I always knew Jeff was smarter than I was, but I figured he had some trick up his sleeve that he was gonna wing out at us. And I don't think that's the case right now. Fresh produce is very difficult. Whole Foods is expensive and has been, and was probably post-peak when they got into it. And I think this is something that Amazon is now just trying to work its way through.
Interesting. You think is it about category or is it about store count? And what do you think they should have done maybe differently in terms of choosing a target, for example?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Grocery is very difficult in retail, and if Amazon wanted to extend its reach to provide outlets for customers to interact with the digital platform in a physical presence, acquiring a grocer, and particularly a premium fresh food grocer like Whole Foods, was probably the most difficult thing they could have bitten off. Would have been better if they'd gotten into a retailer with more presence and more outlets like Target or CVS or Walgreens or something. They could have had a whole lot more interactions with a whole lot more customers.
I mean, to me, Bill, this is so indicative of the Amazon effect in the stock market. That is, when Amazon puts out a press release, the gut reaction on Wall Street is just to sell Walmart and Kroger because it means their margins have to go down. But I cover Kroger. 10% of their stores geographically overlap with Walmart or with Whole Foods. So it's not like they're going to have to go on this campaign to slash prices to compete with Whole Foods because of a move like this. I mean, do investors get it?
I don't think so. I think Amazon's already got the lift that they were looking for from this price action because it was covered in the press. And the example the reporter just gave, the raspberries that were $5.99 that went down to $4.99 are actually $3.99 at Walmart and Kroger. So they're still expensive, haven't done anything. And it's just this impact of Amazon where, they breathe and everybody else has no oxygen left.
Bill, you're not saying this as as a homer, right? As a Walmart executive and lifer here. You actually, I'm just wondering whether or not any biases from your Walmart days are creeping into your insights now.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think Amazon is just a beast in the categories and in the areas where they operate. I think online they've got a formula that works, in an impressive and an incredible way. Reaching into Whole Foods and trying to do fresh food, wow, that's a big reach for a company that has no physical retail experience. I mean, if you look at Walmart as an example, we botched up digital for 20 years before we got it right, even close to right, and headed in the right direction. And that's what Amazon's going to have to go through. And they tried to swing for the fences with Whole Foods. It's a very difficult proposition. And by the way, it was struggling when they bought it.
So Credit Suisse put out a note yesterday on this report. The title is Whole Foods price cut unlikely to be the straw that breaks traditional food retail's back. They have a survey that they just did from the LA market showing that produce at Whole Foods, and maybe it was before this price cut went into effect, was 45% and 30% above Walmart and Kroger. Do you think that customers are making these decisions based on price? Because produce is so key. It's the traffic driver, as you know, in these groceries. It is. And the Whole Foods customer, at least the business that Whole Foods built when it was really at its peak, was premium, and it was selective in their customer reach, and it's selective in their physical footprint. I mean, with 480 stores, that's not really a national footprint. That's not enough to make an impact. In your comment about overlap with Kroger, it's really similar in overlap with Walmart. There's just not that much overlap with physical traditional retailers, and so the price and the niche as it was focused on high-end consumers and high-end produce, they're less likely to react to a price reduction than somebody who's shopping at Walmart or Kroger. And by the way, they don't have access to Whole Foods in the way that they do Walmart and Kroger. I mean, typical customer would probably have to drive past 3 or 4 competitors at a lower price to get to Whole Foods.
Sure. We're coming on a week here, Bill, where we've got a pretty jarring warning out of Walgreens. And there was some discussion yesterday about whether that was a reimbursement pressure or just overall macro pressure or Amazon. I wonder if you have a thought on that.
You know, I think, again, I think Walgreens is in a very, very competitive space right now that's been regulated, and the growth that CVS and the expansion that CVS has made into a broader health business has really challenged the reimbursement in the PBM structure that funds the prescription and flows the prescriptions. And I think Walgreens is sort of losing out in that play right now.
Where do you think Whole Foods is now that, you know, we're reflecting back on the deal, Amazon buying Whole Foods? They've made all sorts of moves. They want to open up stores, not just Whole Foods, of grocery. They're trying to conquer this market. Have they made a dent overall, Bill?
No, I don't think so. It's really hard to say, let me tell you, because they report so little and in such obtuse way, very non-traditional retail reporting. Like, they say that I think they said in their last report that they were up 6% at Whole Foods, but they didn't say whether that was same-store sales or new store sales or whether it was sort of some digital multi-channel sale. So it's really hard to say what they're doing. Last report I heard that the profitability was nearly gone. There wasn't much there to begin with. I think at the acquisition, Whole Foods was making under $1 billion a year. I think I read one report which said 2/3 of that was gone, and that was early on, and now they're reducing prices again. So it can't be a profit play. I don't think they have enough locations to be a traffic play. I still think that there may be something that Jeff's got up his sleeves that's with this digital physical integration that we haven't seen yet, because he's a really capable guy and he doesn't do things by accident. So I still think it's something to watch, but I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't think we've seen success yet with it.
And we're all sort of trying to read tea leaves, especially as we get reports of how they're negotiating with landlords on a new drive-through concept or whatever. I wonder, you still think there might be some more reveals from them in the next year or two?
Yeah, I don't think they're done. I think the conclusion that you could read from the Amazon acquisition and all the news about landlord leases and stuff like that is that Amazon's decided that in order to get where they want to be strategically, they got to get into a physical retail or an omni-channel retail presence. And I think what they've seen is that Walmart's inroads in digital haven't been really from the traditional online platform where Amazon is so dominant. It's been in the multi-channel, the physical digital integration, and I think Walmart has done well. And Amazon seeing that and realizing that they need to get some of that in order to go where they want to go. And I think that's what you're looking at.